Okay, so now we're going to look at steps 6 through 11. Um, the first two steps in this video, we're going to talk about how we can create some trends. In step 6, we want to create a linear trend. What that allows us to do is say, hey, if we're starting out in quarter 1 with this many sales, what do we need to aim for in quarter 2 and quarter 3 to get through 3,000 by quarter 4? So this is actually pretty simple to do, but I always have to look to make sure I know where the correct selection is for this. So the first thing I did, highlight my 4 cells. I'm going to go up to editing. So this is in the home ribbon. And it has a little magnifying glass, which to me says I'm searching, but it's not what I'm doing. So I'm going to click the drop down, and then we're going to go to fill. Fill allows us to do a number of things to put values automatically into cells. We want to do a series. So I'm going to click series. And what we want to do, since I've already selected my cells and it has a beginning and an ending value already provided for us, and linear is the default, what it's going to do is say, hey, in order to get from 2550 to 3000 in that amount of time, we need to go up by 150 units every quarter. If I click OK, it's going to fill the values in, so I know how many sales we should be trying to get in quarters 2 and 3. Now step 7 is a little bit different. We're still going to fill a series, so I'm still going to select those 4 and go to edit and check fill and select series. But this time, instead of going, notice there's no ending value, instead of going by linear trend, we want to do a growth trend. And we need to tell Excel that in this case, we want to know what happens if the sales increase by 2% each quarter. So hey, if we go up by 2%, where does that leave us at the end of quarter 4? So we tell Minitab's a different technology entirely. We tell Excel to go 1.02. That's okay. Keep the existing amount of sales and add 2% to it. Click OK, and it's going to tell us, oh, if we increase by 2% every quarter, by the end of quarter 4, we're going to be selling 2,706 units. So that's 6 and 7. In step 8, we're actually creating a pie chart. This is pretty simple to do. The thing about pie charts, creating charts in Excel, make sure you've selected your columns first. We want the name of each accessory, and we want the dollar amount that was sold. Then we're going to go into insert. We find our pie charts. You want the simplest 2D pie chart. That's what we want, but we don't want it in that location because now it's covering up some of our numbers. So we want to put that in 14A or A14A, and we want to enlarge this so that the other corner is in D30. So I can just grab that bottom corner and move that, and it makes my chart the way that I want it. We also would like to make this a little bit better, because really having something that says chart title, that's not helpful, nor is it professional. So we're going to click on chart title, and then I'm going to put the cursor in there, and I'm just going to type into that accessory sales 2021. I'm going to double check my spelling and my capitalization so that it matches. And then I want to add data labels to this, and I want to edit the data label options so that it displays value and percentage in the data labels. So I'm going to go to add chart element, and I'm going to go to data labels. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, I want these on the inside end. So when I click on that, what it does is it gives me my dollar amounts. But I don't just want the dollar amounts. That's the value. That's what the default is going to be. But I would also like for these to display the percentage of the total sales. So I'm going to go back to add chart element. I'm going to go to data labels, and this time I'm going to go all the way to the bottom where it says more data label options. When I click on that, notice it highlights all of my data labels, and it gives me this editing options over here. So I get my label options. Notice values already clicked. I'm going to click percentage, and when I do that, it adds percentages to each label. That's all I'm doing now. Okay, so now we've actually finished with this worksheet. I'm going to close my little editor over here. we've got everything that we want on the annual sales worksheet. What we want to do now is we want to demonstrate how we can use Excel to be kind of a time saver for us. We already have a Q1 sales worksheet that is just fine. We like the way that this is set up. If we want to use this again, we want to use this format again for Q1 of 2022, we don't want to have to recreate things necessarily. So what we can do, and what we're doing in step 10, is we are copying this. So if you're on a PC, you're going to right-click on the Q1 tab down here. If you're on a Mac, I'm doing my two-finger tap to get this to come up. And I get a menu. And I want the Move or Copy option. I click on that. It's telling me what workbook I'm in. I could actually copy something to a different workbook if I wanted to, but I don't. The important thing right now is to say I need to create a copy. I'm not just moving my original Q1, I'm copying it and then putting that somewhere. So remember to check that box. That's important, so I do it first. Then I say, well, where do I want to put it? Well, it says we want to put it at the end of the workbook, so we want that last option, Move to End. Click OK. Notice that we now have Q1 with a little 2 in parentheses. It says, hey, that's the copy of the original Q1. But we want to retitle it because we're going to now use that as Q1 2022. So I again do my two-finger tap, which would be a right click on your PC. I'm going to select Rename. And I'm going to put the cursor down there. I'm going to get rid of the parentheses and the 2, and I'm going to type in 2022 in place. I'm going to click somewhere else and notice now that that's the title of my Q1 book, or that particular worksheet. That's step 10. So last thing we want to do is we want to clear some contents from B5 through B9. So we want to, well, we're also going to retitle some things. So we're going to go to B5 through B9. And there's a couple of ways we can go about clearing contents. The way that you can be sure that you're only clearing the numbers and you're not affecting any formatting is to go again to Editing, click your drop down, and you've got clear options down here. So click on that, and you've got a number of things you can do. You can clear everything. You can clear the formatting, which is not what we want to do. Or we can clear contents, clear comments or hyperlinks. We're doing contents, so we're going to take that third choice, and it removes the numbers there. If we go to now D5 over here, notice our formulas are still in place. So if we start filling in sales from 2021, or from whatever quarter we're doing, then what will end up happening is this value will fill in over here as well using that formula. Okay, now, of course, we're actually not doing 2021 sales in this workbook, or in this worksheet. We're trying to do 2022. So what we want to do is we want to go to B4. We want to edit that name to 2022 sales. And we want to go to D4 and say, oh, and our projection over here, that's going to be for 2023. And then that's it. So then you need to save and upload it, and that's your project 5.